What up, world? It's your boy Big Willie, aka the Pac Mac. Oh my goodness! Happy holidays, Merry Christmas. Hope y'all are doing well. As always, I am blessed and happy to see you. I got my PlayStation Christmas sweater on. Let me stand up real quick just to show off the PlayStation. Yeah, we feeling nice today. Oh my goodness. And we've got a nice little deck to show y'all. The whole name of this deck is Hello, my name is Elias. Um, if you know me, you know me. I'm a big wrestling fan. And this actually was a personal challenge build that I built a while back. It's as you see, the budget is like pretty freaking low. The cool thing about this deck is that I'll tell y'all at the end. You probably will see it as you go through it, but I'll tell y'all at the end definitely. But it's Ellis Ilcor is the Sadistic Pilgrim is the deck. He is black white. Um, Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, you gain one life. Whenever another creature you control dies, each opponent loses one life. So we're basically running aristocrats, black white aristocrats. We're doing the thing and just trying to make more of our guys and kill people by having our guys die. Let's go ahead and go through the deck. We got artifacts. We got Arcane Signet. Um, Obviously include Bantu's Monument, which I didn't know like rose up like in price that much. Like, like I got some original Amonkhet ones, so I'm just saying, like these are like anything that reduces cost is something that I definitely would set aside for commander purposes because they always work. They always work. We got a Culling Dias, which is a good sack outlet. God Pharaoh Stature. I like this card a lot because it's like one of those like real budget that just it's one of them cards that hose everybody but me. You know what I'm saying? So like, hey, you play God Pharaoh Statue, like everyone's just like, oh snap, like all my stuff costs two more. And at the beginning of my end step, each of my opponents lose a life, so it puts it's a small clock, but it's a clock. Like very good budget piece. I know it costs a lot, so a lot of people are like, oh, it costs a lot. Yeah, but commander games usually, depending on your power levels, I tend to play more on the casual side. So, God Pharaoh Statue like is a very good budget piece that's just like, hey, look, it hose everybody but me. Catcher's Monument, same little deal. Like white spells cost one less. Like like these monuments ain't bad. Like all them little god monuments, yeah. Prime Blade, something to get us some treasures, because we're playing a lot of low cost, efficient creatures that, hey, look, if they die, it's okay. Hopefully they'll get us treasures. Relic of Legends, like this card, this card's like a little key piece, like just to make all of our legendary gods mana dorks, which will help us play the few big things we have. Like I think the biggest costing thing is the God Pharaoh statue, I want to say, and there's like a couple 6-cost creatures. And like there's a couple enchantments that I know y'all see that Warlock class over there. Yeah, we'll get to that in a second. So Relic of Legends, really good piece, really good piece. Skull Clamp. Um, Obviously include we're playing tokens. Didn't know it was $10 now. Like God, I need to sell some cards. Of course, we got a Soul Ring in here, Soul Guide Lantern, Talisman of Hierarchy, and a Wayfarer's Bauble. So sum it out. Let's go ahead and get to the creatures. We got Aaron, Penalia's Ruin. He's one of the guys I kind of want to take out, because I hadn't updated this deck in a while. We're not going to lie. Like, this deck could use some updates and upgrades. Like, that's probably going to be one of the deck takes is just updating and upgrading this deck. But then again, like, there's something specific about this deck. And there's a reason why, like, I'm, like, hesitant to upgrade it because, I have to follow a specific requirement for this deck. And once we get to the end, if it isn't obvious by the time I get through it, it'll be obvious once I get to the end. So, But this is one of the guys that I'm like thinking about, like, hey, I definitely can do better than him. So we'll figure that out. Blood artists, of course, we got the new blood artist that came out recently, and that I want to put in here too, because like, yo, hey, we trying to do the thing, do the thing, do the thing. Um, we got Burnish Heart, of course, Cruel Celebrant, like all your black white, like most of your black white, like, hey, look, yo, that does the thing, like the blood artist thing. They're almost all in here. Cruel Celebrant is a good one. Um, Crystal Dragon. I do like these dragons from the Baldur's Gate set because they have like the whole like utility adventures and like the adventure spells, like the green one in Toski's Kona deck. Like, yo, like that. I like the secret tech. I like it. It's something different. It may hit and hit hard. Doom Traveler, Flashback Marauder, Gray Merchant. Of course, you cannot go wrong with Gary, Hunted Witness, um, Indulging Patrician. We tend to gain a lot of life in this deck. So Indulging Patrician like will help us like do more damage to our opponents. I just realized one of the cards I don't have in here is the Soul Warden. I don't know why I don't have a Soul Warden in here, but I need a Soul Warden in here. Lulu. One of the alternate commanders was Lulu, and one of the enchantments, the black enchantment background. In case if I felt like going that instead of Elias, because like there's plenty of different like, hey, I can switch out, in case if I wanted to. I do like that. Like I kind of call it like like the preconism, where you got like the precon, you got the commander, but then there's like extra commanders in there that you can switch out. So hey, look, like if you don't think that's the one, you can switch out and build towards the other one, and build towards the other one, and it just works, you know. Um, but Lulu's pretty cool. We got Militia Bugler, which lets us get more dudes when we need to get more dudes. We got Mintar, Merciless Soul. I really, really liked her. I had her in my draft kit for Baldur's Gate. And I will find a way to like probably play her by herself, because she's another one that we can switch out and put her in and plug her in the spot, because like, hey, experience counters. There's something about experience counters. It's just, you know what I'm saying? The Deer's Nightblade, we make a lot of tokens. So, yo, hey, that's the deal. Nefarious Imp, not a bad guy. I should put Stinkweed Imp in here. I'm just naming too many cards. Zumi Grave Robber, old school flip card. Oh my goodness, like this guy can sit there and become a problem if he flips and you start stealing stuff out of graveyards. Like, hey, you get him flipped quickly, and then it's just like, hey, let's start stealing real dudes, because this deck doesn't have that many real dudes. Pegasus Guardian, another one of those like adventure. Hey, I could do something and stuff. Pitiless Plunderer, probably one of the most expensive cards in the deck. Actually, no, it dropped in price. Not bad, not bad. Hey, we want to make treasures. Plague Crafter, obvious. Bravo of the Steel Legion. Hey, we make tokens in this deck. This is a token deck for real. Ravenous Chupacabra, it's removal on a stick. Reassembling Skeleton, that guy comes back. Regal Bloodlord, he makes dudes, makes tokens. Like we got a lot of dudes that make dudes. Stone Cloaker, I really like Stone Cloaker because you just bounce him back and it's graveyard hate on the budget. Sir Conrad the Grim, Sir Conrad the Grim, like guy's a hoss. Thales, she makes tokens as well. To whether it's the number of tokens you created, she's one of the ones I mainly switch to, because it's like, yo, if I switch to her, like we are gonna make a lot of tokens, and let's go ahead and get there. Topaz Dragon, once again, Baldur's Gate, do the thing. Viscera Seer, Sack Outlet, Rock. Another guy that will probably be replaced because, I mean, he's good. He's not bad. And he's a flyer. But, it's a thing. And then we got Zulaport Cutthroat, which we all know. We all know and love Zulaport Cutthroat. Okay. Enchantments. We got a Biting Grace, which I want to shout this out to Toski because he just built a Frodo deck, the one drop Frodo that you level up, with the 2 and then a 3, and then he can kill somebody if the ring is tempted you 4 more times. I'm like, yo, Biting Grace, like this card is really good for like anyone playing like with white and they're playing like a 1-drop commander. I just want to throw that out there. I don't know if it's something you need, if it's something you're thinking about, but a Biting Grace, if they, like until your graveyard gets hated on, and even when your graveyard gets hated on, you can sit there and put it back in the command zone because once you switch the zones, you have the option to put it back in the command zone. But like for something like Frodo, where you like that's the guy that you want to kill with, like a Biting Grace, like could end up putting in work if they end up like having a way to keep answering your commander. You know what I'm saying? So like, hey, return target creature with mana value one from your graveyard to the battlefield. Mm. I know green players are already like, yeah, I'm playing white and green and I've got a Spore Frog. There's that Kami that does the same thing as Spore Frog. That should be in this deck, because all this gets back is Doom Traveler and Hunted Witness. Might hook my boy up. I don't know. Agent of the Iron Throne, that's the background I was talking about with the Lulu. Because it's like, hey, yo. Banishment. Good just O-ring. That O-rings a lot of things if like they're playing multiple things. Especially now, like I think now this card will probably see a little bit more play, somewhat, not really. It's still good. It still targets multiple things. There's this rabbit problem that's happening now that just want to just go ahead just point this out as an option, even though like hard wraths are way better. But if you see the purpose of this deck and the whole thing about this deck, you'll understand why this is in here and not real hard wrath. Well, there is a real hard wrath, but not the real hard wrath. Bastion of Remembrance. Card's hot. Card's still good. Inspiring Leader. We play tokens, so let's pump up all our tokens. Intangible Virtue, once again, tokens for the tokens. Phyrexian Reclamation. I totally forgot this card was in here. And that's a really good, like, that's another piece of the money in this deck. I don't, I know why. We obviously know why, but like it's just one of those cards that lets us get our dudes back. It's our recursion of this deck. Retreat to Emiria, it makes us dudes. Sanguine Bond, like that card, and we can go ahead and tell the thing now because like this card was printed at uncommon at one point in time. And the thing is that everything in this deck is uncommon or common. So that was the goal, was to build something with only commons and uncommons. Value didn't matter, but only commons and uncommons. And I built this deck just basically because of that. And it's just like, yeah, I'll do it. I'll try it. And it actually slaps a couple times. Like, it's not the best deck. Oh, no. Like, there's still some issues. I believe I can do a lot better now. Like, I'm just trying to think of some ideas of what uncommon commanders could I know which one. That'll be a later deck if I can get one. Stupid jumpstart. If you know, you know. Anyways, but Sanguine Bond, I have an uncommon version of it in here, and I didn't switch all the versions of it because it takes a while, but I do have this deck, and it's all uncommons. So There we go. We got Underseller Sweep, which brings the initiative into play and makes us dudes. And then Warlock class, of course, that ends up becoming what's the one that beginning of end step they lose life equal to the life they lost this turn. Card's great. Okay, and then we got instances, which is mostly removal. Because we got swords, we got path, we got mortify, we got despark, we got generous gift, deadly dispute, which will draw some cards one time and gives us a one-time sack outlet to get us cards and I think treasure. Yup. And we got Rootborn Defenses, which will get us a token and give us all our creatures indestructible. It's our one little fail safe, because we don't mind Wraths. If Wraths happen, 90% chance they'll be losing a lot of life. So sorceries, we got Diabolic Tutor. It's Tutor. Lingering Souls, which will get us tokens. We got Rite of Oblivion, which is a good hard removal spell. Slaughter the Strong, which is our Wrath in this deck. We're playing a lot of low, we're playing Aristocrats, so a lot of low to the earth. Dude, some Burial Rites, which will get us a get back one time, two times maybe, victimize one time, two time, get back. And then the last thing is the lands. Of course, we're playing the Thriving Lands because that was at the time when I built this deck, I was like, all right, well, that's the ones I could find that were common, uncommon that could fit the deck. And since then, yeah, there's more. There's different things I can add instead. But I mean, the Thriving Lands, if you have to, you've got to. But they both are going to be white black. So hey, look, let's get there. Of course, we're running Terramorphic and Evolving Wilds. We're running Field of Ruin. We're running Mistveil Plains. I like Mistveil Plains a lot because it could also help us recur some of our stuff to the bottom of our graveyard, which if we have two or more white permanents, so our commander and one other thing, hey, we can get there. Opal Palace, which is lately, I don't like Opal Palace, but when you're playing this cheap of a commander, Opal Palace might end up making your guy 4/4 or 5/5 for one extra mana. So I get it. But it's just one of them I'd rather run the other ones. And at the time, I just wasn't thinking. Now that I see the deck, and I'm like, oh yeah, there's a lot of changes I would make to this deck. So one day we may do the run back and see what changes I would make, because there's been a lot of stuff that's came out since then. Because this was made around the Dominaria time, Dominaria United. So yeah, Orzhov Basilica. Love the bounce land that gives us double. Sunlit Marsh, dual land, tap dual lands, and I think these are underrated, and because they have the land types, and I think more things should do that. And then we got 13 swamps and 11 plains, and that is Elias. Elias Ilkor. Like I said, I built that on a challenge, and it was just hey, let's see if we can do something that will be all uncommons and commons and see what you can do. And it has its moments where it does slap and surprises people. And I tell people all the time whenever I play it, it's like, yo, I've done stuff like this. I built a deck that was one rare all commons, and the only rare was the commander, and the commander actually was important to the deck, but everything else was commons and it worked. But everyone has their quirks and stuff, and that was the quirk for this deck. But what do you think of it? What changes would you make? Would you make something like this? That's the real thing. Would you do an all uncommon or all common deck? Talk to me. I know everyone's budget decks, and I'm like, hey, look, I can build a budget deck too. I should build a budget deck. We gotta figure that out. We gonna build a budget deck sometime soon, and just give me a total. That's the real thing. Give me a total. Um, and we'll do it by cheapest printing of the card, because if I can build it, I'm gonna try to build it in paper too and play it and see what happens and let people know, because like, yo, like, this is a good idea. These are things that I think that's cool. All right. Anyways, I hope y'all are having a great day. As always, like, comment, subscribe. Remember, no matter what, it is all about the gathering. Don't forget to holla at your boy. Peace.